A bag?
It's not just a bag. It's Prada.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another edition of Society Spotlight, the program that keeps you informed, intrigued, and dare I say, a little envious of the nation's glittering elite. I'm your host, Franklin T. Bellamy, coming to you live from the gilded heart of Harrington City. Have you heard the latest on the Ackers? That's right, folks. Edward Acker, the newspaper tycoon from Sulani, has turned new money into serious influence. But behind the marble halls and cocktail chatter, whispers of curses, strange dreams, and a sudden death that's got the elite clutching their pearls. The Acker sons now inherit more than just wealth. They inherit a legacy and a mystery. Will they rise, or will the shadows take hold? Until next time, my dazzling debutantes and dapper gents, keep your pearls polished and your secrets tucked away. Good night.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Simwhere's Prada, where the drama is always designer and the stories are forever iconic. Let's get into today's video. All right, you guys. Welcome back. And yes, this is another Acker video. The next video will not be an Acker video, by the way, but enjoy it while we can, because I want to get season 1 finished, and we're not that nowhere near close, but we're gonna get there. But let's before we dive into episode 3 of the Acker Legacy, Shadow of Wealth, let's talk about what went down in episode 2, because honey, the dreams, the legacy is giving mystery, money, and maybe just a little bit of witchcraft. Did y'all guys see that coming? Did y'all see that coming? Let me know in the comments. So, in case you missed it or just needed a little refresher, the Ackers, our famous, lovely family, they are officially up. Yeah, they're up. Edward Acker turned Sulani Weekly into a successful story. Of course, we know with the social status that Marie brought to the family also helped tremendously, and her money from her inheritance from her grandmother really helped them out a lot, where they were able to stack some money, but also, get back in the good graces of the people. And basically rebranded their whole family from this modest beginning, at least on Edward's side, to this full-on like new money royalty. When the it girl come in school, you're that girl, and those are the Ackers in this moment in time. But of course, with every little corn flip, honey, there's a dark side. Okay. But yeah, when things are looking golden for Edward and the family, who's the family's mastermind, of course, a very suspicious end to his life that kind of got a little creepy with the dreams and everything. Like the talk of the old witch. I really want to know more about her. We might need to do an episode of her backstory because, girl, the actual dark magic, the curses, the cloak figures, like, what did you gain out of this as well? Like, what was the exchange? That sound like another series on its own. I mean, come on. At this point, the people are getting, hipped on what's going on with the Ackers, and they're trying to, stay away. But, these people have influence. How could you? It's up to now the Acker brothers, which is Raph, John, and Edward Jr., to step up. I would say steering the Acker name towards that dynasty status, because they're not there yet. And let's just say the stakes are higher this time. Stay tuned, because episode 3, well, we about to expose some things. Enjoy.
In the concluding chapters of The Acker Legacy, Shadows of Wealth, we delve into the twilight years of Edward Acker, his sons' marriages into old money families, and the blossoming of a new era for the Acker dynasty. Edward II and Anne Radcliffe, a melodic love story. Edward II, following his father's counsel, marries Anne Radcliffe, a pianist from the illustrious Radcliffe family. Their love story, woven with music and passion, leads to the birth of 2 sons. Despite the tragic loss of Philip at birth, Edward III becomes the torchbearer of the Acker legacy. Anne Radcliffe, born into the prestigious Radcliffe family, experienced a childhood steeped in luxury and tradition. The Radcliffes were renowned for their contributions to the arts and their extensive wealth, making them a fixture in high society. Anne's early years were filled with music, literature, and the company of influential figures who frequented her family's opulent estate. Her parents, avid patrons of the arts, ensured that Anne received the finest education. Trained as a pianist, she developed a deep appreciation for classical music and the cultural pursuits that defined her family's legacy. Yet beneath the facade of wealth and privilege, Anne longed for a connection that transcended societal expectations. Edward Acker, on the other hand, entered high society with aspirations born from humble beginnings. His arrival was met with skepticism from some quarters, as old money families questioned the legitimacy of his rise. Edward, however, possessed a charm that endeared him to many and a keen intellect that allowed him to navigate the intricate web of high society. The Radcliffes, with their discerning eyes, initially dismissed Edward's presence. However, his genuine passion for the arts and a chance encounter with Anne at one of the Radcliffe family's soirees would change the course of their lives. It was a night of glittering chandeliers and the melodious strains of a grand piano that Edward II first laid eyes on Anne Radcliffe. Anne, lost in the enchanting notes she played, felt a pair of eyes upon her. As their gazes met across the crowded room, something shifted in the air. Edward, known for his charisma, approached Anne, engaging her in a conversation that transcended the superficiality of high society banter. They spoke of music, art, and the yearning for a life beyond the confines of societal expectations. It was a connection that surpassed the boundaries of class and status. The forbidden love blossoms. As their secret meetings continued, Edward and Anne found solace in each other's company. The Radcliffe estate's sprawling gardens became the backdrop for stolen moments where they could escape the watchful eyes of high society. Their love blossomed against the backdrop of societal norms that sought to keep them apart. The whispers and disapproving glances only fueled their determination to defy the odds. Edward, enamored by Anne's talent and grace, knew that he had found a kindred spirit who saw beyond the veneer of wealth and privilege. They embarked on a journey together, forging a new path outside the stifling expectations of high society. The Radcliffe name may have faded from Anne's life, but the love she found in Edward was a legacy that would endure for generations to come. Within the opulent halls of the Acker estate, a unique bond flourished, binding Marie Acker and Anne Radcliffe together. Their connection, rooted in shared passions and a mutual defiance of societal norms, marked the dawn of a deep and enduring relationship. Marie, the matriarch of the Acker family, and Anne, the daughter-in-law who defied conventions for love, found solace and companionship in their shared love for the arts. Marie, having dedicated her life to fostering cultural pursuits, recognized in Anne a kindred spirit. Together they reveled in the world of music, literature, and the visual arts. Marie's love for the arts extended beyond mere admiration. It was a driving force that shaped the Acker legacy. Upon Anne's arrival into the family, Marie seized the opportunity to deepen their connection through joint patronage. They organized grand events, supported local artists, and even spearheaded the restoration of the Winterberg Ballet Hall. Marie saw in Anne not just a daughter-in-law, but a partner in their shared passion. Their joint efforts elevated the Acker family's standing in the cultural sphere, making them synonymous with support for the arts. In a time when propriety was stitched tightly into every gown and every gesture was watched with hawk-like precision, Anne Radcliffe dared to bare her truth, quite literally. One autumn afternoon, with golden light spilling through the towering windows of her family's grand Windenberg estate, Anne dismissed the staff early. The parlor, usually reserved for stiff tea service and idle society gossip, was transformed into a private studio. She had invited a discreet avant-garde photographer from San Myshuno, one whose work was whispered about in salons but never discussed aloud. Anne posed among silk settees and gilded mirrors, draped in nothing but shadows and courage. Each click of the shutter was a declaration, a reclamation of her own body, her own identity, far from the gaze of men or the expectations of high society. These photographs, sensual but tasteful, were never meant for scandal, but for legacy. A love letter to herself, a rebellion against the notion that elegance and autonomy were mutually exclusive. Anne's portraits were radical for their time, not lewd, but liberating. They showed a woman unafraid to be both mused and muse. They remain hidden in the Acker archives, known only to a few. But their impact? Timeless. Anne Radcliffe didn't just marry into the Acker name, she left her signature on it. Through art, love, rebellion, and a quiet fire, she proved that owning your story is the boldest legacy of all.